Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome along. Just standing here on my back porch today, and I just thought I'd shoot this video really quickly. It's only be a few minutes. This is a bit of a preclusion. This is before you go out and do all your adventures. Now, here in New Zealand, the poor bloody search and rescue teams must be running around the clock, because I can think of, honest to God, no less than about 5, maybe 6, 7 search and rescue operations that have taken place here in New Zealand in the last 2 weeks alone. Some of them could have been avoided. Part of avoiding these things is just simply being prepared. Going out in the bush with all the right gear, knowing what you have, knowing what you need to have, knowing your ability, knowing the skills that you hold and what you're capable of. Now, a lot of these people that got into these situations, you know, some of them, by their own admission, really had no experience. Some of them were partaking in organized events and they got a little bit off track. They got into a place where they shouldn't have been, or they missed their turn, or whatever the case is. But I want to shoot here really quick today a video about what I call the ABCs. That's my all bases covered. ABC, all bases covered. These are the things that I think I carry with me, or that I should carry with me, or that you should carry with you on a minimum every time you go out in the bush. Now, if you're just going, that doesn't mean like when you're walking off to the store or to the shops to buy your smokes or anything that you need to be carrying all this stuff. But if you know you're stepping into a wilderness area, you could conceivably get off of your trail, you hop into the forest to have a leak, and you get turned around and all of a sudden all of it looks the same. They call that being bushed here in New Zealand. Universally, it's just referred to as being bloody lost. Now, getting lost happens to everybody. It happens to anybody. If you have your ABCs with you, it's not going to become a recovery operation. It's going to still be a rescue operation the next day, you know? So before you go out and do any of your adventures, we're going to go through this ABC kit. Before even that, what you need to do is you need to let people know where you're going to be. Call this your intentions, and you can do that here in New Zealand. You can do that online. You can go online, fill out an intentions form. You can do that at adventuresmart.org.nz. Put a link in there for you. Also, I want people to understand their abilities and know where they're going. Have a look at the maps. You know, go on to something like the Department of Conservation, maps.doc.govt.nz, maps.doc.gov.nz. They've got fantastic links on there. They've got all these topo maps you can go on. You can have a look at it. This means planning things. This is part of understanding your abilities, where you're going to be, what you're going to do. Try and think about how far you're actually going to make it in a day. Do you have the energy? Do you have the fitness? It's fine and well to want to go somewhere and do something, but can you do it? And if something goes south, if you sprain your ankle, what are you going to do? Do you have an exit strategy? It's really important to think, guys, and to understand. It's great to want to do things. It's really important, though, to understand your limitations, you know? So have a good look at those maps before you go. Know that if you reach this river, you're going to have gone past where you should be. Know that if you come to this big clearing on the map, that you're only halfway there. And if you're feeling tired, it's okay to turn around. It's okay to go back early. You don't have to. You know, there's nothing out there that's forcing you to make you to go on to do that, to go a little bit further, to go a little bit longer, to do something that you shouldn't be doing, you know? Now, here in New Zealand, the biggest killer in the back country is rivers and water. It's always wet, it's always raining. Rivers go up, they go down just as fast. You can find yourself on the far side of what was a little trickle of a stream in the morning and come back to it a few hours later after it's rained and find that the entire catchment area that you've been walking in all day has just collected all the water, and it's all running in one little spot. And all of a sudden, that stream that you crossed this morning is a raging torrent. And it's happened to me. I've spent 3 days stuck on the far side of a river that's normally only 15 centimeters deep. And by the time it finished raining for 2 days straight, the water was 2.5 meters deep, and instead of running its average 5 meters across, honest to God, it was probably 75 meters across. This is a braided riverbed that's normally just small and thin, and you don't even get wet feet. Well, it was literally bank to bank. That shit is scary. It's crazy. There is no way you want to get into that. So when you come to a river, you got to ask yourself, do you need to cross this river? What's on the other side that's so important? Are you willing to risk getting stuck over there for whatever it is that you want to go see? Is there a better place to do it? Presumably you've looked at your map and you know that there is a bridge half a kilometer downriver. Why don't you go to the bridge? It'll save you getting your feet wet, save you end up floating away, save you losing all of your gear, save you end up getting fished out of the river. Okay, so think about it. You need to be strategic, you need to be informed, you need to make good decisions out there, guys. So I'm gonna reposition this camera. I'm gonna get into my bag here. This is my ABC pack. This is what I carry with me everywhere that I go. We're gonna get into this. I'm gonna show you all the items that I think are absolutely necessary for a day's walk in the bush. Because we're just gonna go through this bag, we're gonna get everything out of it, and we're gonna show you what I deem to be necessary, what I think are the ABCs, your all bases covered pack. Now, before I tear it all out, I'm gonna go ahead and just weigh it really quickly here on the little digital luggage scale. Save me having to repack it all. Dead even. This bag is, can you see this? Will it focus? Will it focus? There you go. 5 kgs, right on the money. We're just gonna start pulling this out item by item as they come out of the pack. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what it is, why I think it should be there. So, 27 liter day pack, 5 kgs. We're gonna start with the top pocket here. We'll just whip this open. First thing right on top of the pack every single time, head torch. Gotta have a head torch. It always gets darker sooner than you expect. Gotta have that head torch. You gotta have that right on the top of the pack. That's gotta be the first thing, easiest thing to find as soon as it starts turning dark. You don't wanna be tearing through your pack, dropping all your bits and pieces on the ground. Head torch right at the top. We've also got here a little wee nesting pot set. Now this is a 1 liter pot with a lid. Inside of it, I've got a little collapsing cup so you can drink out of. And in there, we've got some little bits of spare food. We've got a sachet of coffee. We've got some dried fruit. Got some tea. We've got an instant soup. Just little things. They don't weigh anything. That covers some emergency food. You've got a pot here. You can boil water. You can get yourself a nice warm drink. Water can contain parasites. You got giardia. You've got all those other little nasties that are in there. You don't necessarily want to go taking a risk drinking untreated water. So the other thing that I always carry in here, because they weigh nothing, are Aqua Tabs. These are just, there's 10 of them in this pack. One little tab treats 1 liter of water. Okay, that's super easy. You can just put it in your drink bottle, fill your bottle out of a stream, chuck one of these in. Within 40 minutes, it's all sterile, ready to go. And 2 sets of spare batteries for my head torch. Okay, all of my electronic equipment all runs on AA batteries, so I don't have to have a 9-volt. Some AAAs, some AA's, a C battery here, and I think one of these. AA batteries all around. AA batteries for my head torch, AA batteries for the GPS. Next thing we've got, waterproof compression sack. In here, polypros. Long sleeve shirt, long pair of pants, and a toque, or a beanie, depends on where you live in the world. 3 items, they're dry, you know they're dry, they're in this waterproof bag. Presumably you went out in the bush dressed anyways, and that'll help you. But if all of your clothes are soaking wet, you can at the very least chuck all this on. Now there's no sleeping bag in here, so potentially you're passing the night. Like tonight, last night it was 3 degrees here in the bush, maybe even a little bit lower. You would have had some 0 in some places. You want to layer up, you need to get these clothes on. You need to be warm to pass the night, especially if you're not going to make a fire. Hell, if it's 2 degrees out or below 0, you're going to want to put all these on, plus your coat, plus everything you wore anyways, and still make a bloody fire. Okay, so spare clothes, dry, polypros are warm, even if they're soaking wet. Absolutely must have. A saw. If you're gonna make a fire, you're gonna need to cut some wood. Little folding saw. This is the Baco here, of course, 7 inches. It's like pretty much the go-to standard for outdoor bushcraft. They're small, they weigh nothing, goes in your backpack. And I've also got around my neck, which I carry everywhere I go, in the bush, all the time, non-stop, it's always on my neck, is my knife, okay? Cutting tools. Got to process firewood, got to make shelter, got to cut down boughs, got to cut down stuff to make bedding. Knife, saw, cannot get away from them. 2 is 1, 1 is none. Always have a backup. Here I've also got, this is my Hunter's Element XTR outerwear raincoat. Now this thing, you could carry a smaller one. You could get away with a little plastic poncho that you can fit in your pocket. Not knocking that. I have this equipment. I think it's superior. It's much more robust. It's better, it's windproof, it's not, doesn't, it breathes, doesn't condensate, you're not gonna get soaking wet on the inside. I have it, so I use it, I carry it. It's light, weighs nothing. It's an extra layer to put on. That goes with your clothing as well. Outerwear, underwear. This is my cordage. Now this goes along with my tarp. It goes along with my shelter component. My shelter component for an ABC pack like that is just very simple. It's just a plastic tarp. This one's got bungee cords on all the sides. That's how I roll it up. I fold it into itself and roll it. Takes up the least amount of space like this. Now this is only about 2.5 meters long by about a meter and a half wide. It doesn't make a huge shelter, but if it starts pouring rain and you've got to spend the night outside and you've never built a debris hut before, you'll be thanking God that you brought one of these, because this instantly goes up, combined with this little bag here full of pegs and little hanks of string and rope and everything like that. Believe me, all of this combined with this tarp would be a godsend. And again, it weighs nothing. We can go through this another day. I'll set one of these up for you and show you how you'd want to set this up to actually spend the night. But these two items right here, that's your shelter, that's your home. That is protection from the elements, and that is key. First aid. First aid kit here. All your standard band-aids, compresses, stretchy elastics. This one's even got inside here, this has got an emergency whistle. That goes along with signaling. This is for letting people know where you are. People are going to come looking for you. Presumably you have left your intentions with people. Somebody's going to come. Give them a whistle. It's a lot easier on you. You can blow that whistle all day, but you can't scream and yell all the time. You're going to lose your voice. You're going to make yourself tired. In there's also a little tiny Mylar blanket, along with all the other bits and pieces that go with it. Everywhere you go, you should always have one of these. You should have one of these in the car. You should have one of these in your backpack. You should have one of these in your pocket if you need to. I tend to cut myself, so I have that. And an extra Mylar blanket combined with your tarp that you've got over top of you. You stuck one of these on the ground. At the very least, you're not getting water soaking up from the ground into your clothing. They reflect a lot of your heat back. If you've got two of them, you can line the back of your shelter. You can drape it over the front of your shelter. No reason not to have those with you. More spare food. Trail mix, nut bars. I happen to love and own a fantastic GPS. GPS uses the exact same batteries as my head torch. AA's. Fantastic thing. It's loaded with topographic maps. It's got all the charts. It's got all the huts. It's got the tramping tracks. It's got all that stuff on it. It's waterproof. It's not life-proof. These things can go dead. So this is part of your navigation. Okay, it's very good to be able to navigate with one of these. They're obviously really good. You whip it out, you go, shit, I'm lost. Where am I? There I am. I need to go that way. Keep on walking. They can die. So you can never, even in this modern day and age technology, you can never overrule the fact that a good map and a compass combined with the skills will keep you going in the long term. GPSs are good for a day, 2 days, 3 days. Use them sporadically, conserve your battery power for sure, but maps and compasses, they don't go off, okay? Now this is a nice Silva compass here. It's the full-on signaling version. It's got, the mirrored version, which you can use for signaling, which you can use for taking really good bearings. You can plug your bearing in. You can navigate on this all day till the cows come home. They don't go out of style. You just need to keep practicing with them. You need to know how they work. Now we've also got in here a waterproof notebook. Now this is an Aqua Note. I've also got a pencil attached into it here, and it's just closed together with a little piece of string. It keeps my pencil from getting lost. But waterproof paper. You can start your memoirs. You can write your How I Survived the New Zealand Bush novel. You can start it all right here. But you can also, you know, because it's waterproof, you can tear a sheet out of this. You can write notes. You can leave things that people will find. You can mark your trail with it. You can do all sorts of things. If you leave notes and you've done your job and you've left your intentions, people are going to know where to look for you. They're going to come looking for you. They'll find you. They'll be in the area where you were. So find one of these. You'll have presumably written on this, hey, I'm buggered. I've got out my map already and my compass. I've plugged in a bearing. I'm heading to such and such hut. I anticipate I'll get there whatever day. And don't forget to date it. Let them know when you were there. Put the time on it. Let them know what time you were there. That is waterproof paper. My pack is empty. There's not a lot there. It's very light. Packs up very simply. You just got to know how to use everything in here. But these are your ABCs. All bases covered. You've got everything you need. You've got shelter. You've got food. You can boil water. You can treat your water. You can tend to your wounds. You can walk your way out of there. You can build yourself a shelter. You can build yourself a fire. You can stroll around in the dark if you have to. You've got warm clothes, dry clothes to put on at night. You've got rainproof clothes. Just more of an awareness these days. I've been seeing a lot of search and rescue crews going out, and they've been working tirelessly, and of course they will be there for you in an emergency. This doesn't mean that they're not going to come looking for you. This just means that when they find you, they're going to find you smiling, and they're going to find you alive. Okay, we want the search and rescue crews going out there. We want them coming back with good results. We want them coming back on rescues. We don't want them going out for recoveries. So make sure, guys, if you're going out in the bush, you know, leave your intentions, know where you're going, know your limitations, and carry the right gear. So as always, guys, stay safe, go out, have fun, have adventures, be prepared. Catch you next time. All bases covered. This is what you need to carry whenever you're going out. You've already presumably done all the right things. You've left your intentions with somebody you trust, or you've done it online. You're going to report back to these people when you get out, and they know what time you're going to be out, where you're expected to be, where you plan on going, what you're going to be doing, all the risks associated. In your backpack, you've got your light, you've got something to walk around at night, you've got your 2 forms of navigation, you've got your cutting tools, okay, you've got first aid, you've got shelter, dry, warm underclothes, waterproof exterior clothes, food, more food in here, plus this is also your pot. This is how you're gonna boil water, keep warm drinks, treat your water. You've got water tabs in there so you're not drinking things that are gonna make you increasingly sick, okay, guys? So let's go out there, have good times, have good adventures, but do it smart. Be ready for what you're getting into, know your limitations, know your abilities, know your terrain, know where you're going, know what you're getting into, and by all means, know how you're getting out. Know when you're getting out, and let everybody else know as well, okay, guys? Like always, guys, have fun, be safe, carry the gear that you need, carry the knowledge that you have, and get the most out of it. Be back soon with another video. We'll take all this stuff out and we'll show you how we actually do a night in the bush when the shit finally hits the fan. Catch you later, guys.